Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton from the Great Synagogue in Sydney, and welcome to From the Rabbi's Bookshelves. Our volume today is Torah Umadda by Rabbi Dr Norman Lamm. Rabbi Lamm was born in Brooklyn in 1927. He died in May 2020, just a short time ago. And his major contribution was as the president of Yeshiva University, the Yeshiva and University in New York City. It's a unique institution because it is an Orthodox rabbinical school, producing both rabbis and inviting people to come simply to learn as part of their Jewish education. And it is also a very successful university, both at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels. Rabbi Lamm came from a more traditional background. He went to Torah Umadda, a traditional yeshiva in Brooklyn, and then he came to Yeshiva University later in life, when he was a little older, and he fell under the spell of what he calls in this book, Torah Umadda, a combination of Torah, traditional Jewish study, and Madda, Western civilization, general thought, philosophy, science, so on and so forth. He himself was a chemistry major before he was persuaded to go back into the Jewish line and to become a rabbi and a scholar. He was very successful as a pulpit rabbi, particularly in the Jewish Center in New York. He became famous for his outstanding sermons, and then he was called to the presidency of Yeshiva University. And Yeshiva University was sometimes criticized quite harshly for trying to combine a Jewish and a secular education to the very highest level. And in 1990, he wrote this book, Torah Umadda, as a philosophical and theological defense of the enterprise that Yeshiva University was undertaking. And it's a charming book because it combines his own biographical influences and his own personal story with a very great learning and reading on the issue, and brings to bear the whole range of his knowledge and experience. So let me read you a passage which contains both of those elements. He says, when the author, Rabbi Lamm himself, came to Yeshiva University as an 18-year-old freshman, the concept of Torah Umadda proved enormously attractive to him. He saw before him a number of outstanding role models, including Rabbi Elton, the then president, Rabbi Soloveitchik, the great Rosh Yeshiva, the Talmudic genius of Yeshiva University, who was also a PhD in philosophy. And he yearned to understand and perhaps someday emulate their remarkable integration of such apparently disparate worlds. Torah Umadda became for him not, as so many of its critics aver, a source of spiritual and religious schizophrenia, but quite to the contrary, an opportunity, because of all its creative tensions, for ultimate inner harmony, a way to unite his deep historic commitments with his growing experience as a modern person living in a scientific technopolis in an open and democratic society, and in a culture that, despite all its terrible failings, is vibrant and progressive. Rabbi Lamm wants to combine his lived experience with his intellectual experience and religious experience, and not see them as two worlds, one to be avoided, or even one just to be tolerated, but fully integrated so he becomes a fuller and more developed religious individual. Thanks for joining.